Hello everyone. I am with my lovely assistant here, my sister Drea, and this video I'm going to channel Archangel Michael, and she's going to ask questions about the event and the new Earth to clarify, to give some clarity about what to expect, things like that. She might ask her own questions if they come up, and also if you have further questions, I might make a part two or even a live video if that interests people. You could ask some questions down in the comments. Oh, and I'm gonna tag yet again my aura hypnosis video that Rising Phoenix Aurora posted. I'm gonna post the link yet again to this video because that gives some clarity about also what to expect with people who still need to do some lessons. It gives some clarity about that. So, anyways, we're gonna start. So I'm going to start by shielding myself and going into my heart and bring forth Archangel Michael, and then Drea will ask some questions, and if there's anything that doesn't make sense, you just comment back and ask your own questions if there's something that comes up. Okay, so I'm gonna start. Okay. You may begin. So we have an event coming on in March. Is this going to be a final event, as in a major shift of shifts, or is this a smaller shift in a series of shifts that are coming? We have been going through multiple events, multiple shifts. These energies keep coming, they will come. This event is another event in the series of events. Now, what's different about this event is that this event will limit us to the sense that we are no longer negative polarized. And so it is, in a sense, erasing what doesn't serve us anymore. It is a beautiful event in that it is a large event, and it will shift us towards the light and open our hearts, and we will gain more freedom and expansion. Earth is no longer going to be held down in lower densities. It is going to rise up to a new frequency. Some may call this the fourth dimension, and then others will call it the fifth dimension, but it doesn't matter what you call it. It is another state of being, another state of awareness. We are now calling forth more of ourselves, more of our higher selves, and more understanding of what we can accomplish, what our mission is, and what our gifts are, and we can align with this more so in these coming days. So after this new enlightenment, people will begin to become aware and reawaken and remember who they are. So this shift is a better expansion than any other expansion. Some may call it the event. It is a final event in a sense, but not in another sense, for there will still be some more events to come, some more shifts. This planet is awakening to the state of being that some will call the new Earth. It is more of a planetary reawakening than a new place. It's a reawakening to the state of being that was there before this whole planet fell, in a sense, to lower densities. The planet is awakening to the heart space where it was originally before this fall. The people that have held you down and controlled you, the people that have lied to you, the people that are of the ones that many would call of the darkness, will begin to either transmute themselves into the light, or they will be held down to the beings of another dimension, to the lower dimensions. We are falling away from the other dimensions, such as the third dimension. We're breaking off, expanding from it. So these lower dimensions are tearing away, in that we are no longer going to be aware of them. They will still be there, but they won't be able to affect us. They won't be in our state of alignment, and so we won't even know them. I hope that answered that question.
So when you say more negative things controlling us, within that, do you mean like negative entities that are attached to people?
That is a part of it. Also, those that people call the Illuminati, the Cabal, these other entities that are existing on the planet. Some are within people who are not negative, but others are embodied of the negative energies of the lower density. Most are not, most are within people, yes, which you would call entities, but there are also the beings that you would call the corrupted. These people may be of power, not all of them are in power. Some are within the government, some are of the people in high places, such as show business or the hospitals or in companies making decisions for the planet. There are less and less of these people, though, as more and more shift towards the light. Many of these people are even communicating to their home planet to leave. They understand what's going on, and many are leaving. Still, they still remain in power, and they do affect the planet. people are aware of them more, and so they're not able to keep their power. People are not aligning with them and agreeing with them, and so they know what's going on, and so many are leaving. Many are transmuting themselves to stay, or they are leaving. And if they do stay and they do not transmute, these energies will be not allowed to move on, and so they will have to stay within the densities of the 3D, which we are rising above. So there are people that may call this two earths, but it is not two earths. It is only the state of awareness. So to make this clear, there are people here who may be aware of ghosts, and ghosts exist on the planet, but many cannot see them. So it would be like that, in which these negative polarized entities still exist on the planet, but we would not be aware of them. They would not be able to touch the individuals and to interfere with them. Does this make sense?
So we would be within the same space still, but we would not have an awareness of them. They would not have an effect on us.
Yes. We would still have an effect on them. That's the thing. The higher energies always affect the lower, but the lower does not affect the higher. We are all expanding towards the higher energies. So even God, who is of the highest vibration, has an effect on the lower, but the lower does not have an effect on the highest. We may be aware of each other, but not in the sense of them being able to align with us and do anything to us. But we can still do things to them in expanding on their awareness.
And what sort of things can we do to help expand on their awareness?
Well, when we go into our heart, we affect all, for we are all connected. We are all of the collective. We are all one. So when we go higher, we must, in a sense, shift and make the others go higher as well. It is like a vibrational connection. So if we pull on a rope, the others must raise as well. So if we are all a rope, even the ones on the bottom who hold on are lifted if we pull on the rope. But this is a sense there are no limits to the rope. There's no one way. There is an end to the rope, but in the sense there is not an end to the rope. This is hard to explain. There is a lower density place, but also there is not any vibration that is of the lowest. For we are all one, we are not actually limited. We just think that we are limited. I hope that made sense. Does my analogy work?
Everything's connected as a rope, so if you lift it, then everything's rising as well.
Well, when we rise, all rises. So whoever's on the bottom will be led towards the top. And another will then fall away to the bottom. It's a grand cycle. Heather's also asking a question here, so I will clarify. Yes, there is a cycle. So when people reach the top, they do not fall again. This is a question she had. But when you become God, you in a sense do fall yet again, because then you become another entity, another soul who does fall to the bottom. And so this is an endless cycle of expansion and awareness. But you, as an individual, since you have fallen and you have rose again, will never then come to the bottom again. Once you rise, you are of the higher vibration. Okay.
Well, before you said that we will rise in vibration, and some people will call it the fourth dimension, some will call it the fifth dimension. And I understand that you're saying it's a rising, so it doesn't really matter which one we're in. But then you were still calling this the third dimension. So is there a distinction between the fourth and fifth dimension, or is it does it just not matter because either way we're rising?
So this planet is of the third dimension right now. Some are existing in the fourth dimension in the third dimension. So they're limited to the third density, but their consciousness is of the fourth density. Now, when we rise, the planet rises, we will exist in the fourth dimension, but some then will live in the consciousness of the fifth dimension. So some people call it the fifth. Many are saying that this new earth is the fifth, and we will eventually get to the fifth, but it is first going to be the fourth. How long it takes to get to the fifth is debatable. It depends on you, but we will eventually get to the fifth, but first we must go to fourth. It's just a labeling. People like to say that we're skipping the fourth, but it is going to be fourth.
So what is it that we can do to prepare ourselves before March?
Well, most people have done what they need to do, actually. Some people still see it as this event will happen and they don't have to do anything. But it isn't about really what you do at all, actually. It's what you are. It's how you stay in your heart, your understanding more than what you do. So some people think they have to do things. They have to give up things. They have to take on things, such as doing something. So some people say, I must meditate for an hour every day. Others say, I must give up meat. Other people say they must go to a retreat, whatever it is. But what really, really matters is going through the day and staying in the heart. When I say the heart, many may not understand what that means, so I will explain it. Staying in the heart simply means understanding who and what you are beyond your physical limitations. So it's understanding your truth, your worth, your connection with all, your divinity. It is of the frequency of love. It is beyond the ego, understanding that the ego is there, but is not defining who and what you are. So this state of awareness is of peace, love, and joy. It is seeing all your limitations, seeing all your fears, but not being of the limitations of the fear. It is just staying in the heart to understand that this is nothing more than an experience of yourself. but you are not of that. You are the awareness of that. Many people are expanding in this and have become more of this. Even if they are of the lower understanding, their movement has been so great that we are aligning with this. And so we have decided that this is possible at this time. You must align with the heart. If you align with the heart and stay in the heart, you can do many, many things. You can grow. For we are always growing, but you could grow even more at this time. We've been here a long, long time, and I know that this seems like a short amount of time, but we can still do this. We can still rise in our frequency, and if you do this, this will be easy for you. This will be easier. Not that anyone will be in any pain during this transition, but it would be easier for you, and you would be more of the light, in which experience more joy, more worth, more peace. It would be brighter. Heaven would be brighter. For some would call this heaven on earth. Now is all the time we have, so we must experience the now. So be in the present. Some would call the heart space the present moment, instead of being lost in our thoughts. And if your thoughts are very, very fast and they go and go and go, it would be best just to witness that, to just be aware of that. That would be helpful. Do you have any further questions in this?
What if you know, in a sense, who you are within the heart space and how you should be projecting yourself, but being in social activities, going to your work where there seems to be obligations for you to go against that, how is the best way to remain within your heart space when you have to?
Yes. This is something that many people would relate to. So they go home, they are able to meditate, they are able to stay within themselves, but then they go to work and they are in conflict. They are aware of themselves, but they have to do things that does not align with them, that they do not agree with. So the best thing is to do what you do, which is to align with yourself, even despite what you do. So I understand that there are limitations within this 3D world. So people are required to go to work, they're required to have a job, and we do not ask anybody to quit their job at this time, even though some may be guided to do that because it can lead to more joy, to do something that is of alignment within the heart. But if you have to stay, you decide to stay, it is a matter of understanding who and what you are despite what you do. And I know that this is very fear-based for some, for me to say this, but it is possible to be in alignment within the heart and still do what you have to do. So, for instance, Heather is thinking about how she gives medication to clients, and she does not agree with this, but it is a requirement of her job. Now, this does not mean that she is not a part of the unity, not a part of the love vibration. It just means that she gives her clients the permission to decide what is best for them instead of her deciding for them. So if you are required to do certain things, it is a requirement for your job. There are certain things you must do, like say certain things over the phone, do certain things, do tasks, maybe sell things. People have a lot of sales jobs in which they must promote a certain product even though they do not agree with it. If they were to stay in the heart and simply project that, the client might be in alignment with themselves. So our vibration affects more than even what we do. People don't understand this. But what we project out from ourselves on our energetic level affects other people. And they then may make that decision to make changes, such as not buying the product, and then the company decides to change their product. It is all connected. People don't understand this either, that they see themselves in a victim stance, but it is more of what you see within yourself, what you feel within yourself. If you feel lighter, if you feel of joy and peace and love, this is going to affect everybody around you. This in a sense can affect everything. So this is why people can be in very dark situations, but their love will then project out and affect things in a better way. So it's actually of a great service to be in a job that you do not even enjoy. Because if you are of love in a project, in a company, in a position that you do not even understand as yourself or feel that you fit into, if you are able to be who you are in that job, you can do the world a great service because it will shift things. Now, I understand it can be a great service to be in a position that does align with you too. So both will benefit because I know that a lot of people want to be light workers and do things from the light, and this is important as well, such as teaching, healing, service things. That But it is also important for people, okay, to be in positions that they don't agree with. So, like, light workers would be better off if they took some positions in, like, the government and things like that of jobs that they don't want to be in because they would be of service, or such as being just simply the garbage person. If they were to do that with love, then that makes a big difference. It really doesn't matter what position we're in, as long as we're serving from the heart, and as long as we are of the joy of the oneness within themselves, we would be within this collective and begin to shift the planet in even a greater way than we have in the past. So no matter where you are, whatever you're doing, if you do it with love, it is of purpose. Any questions on this? On that, but before you said that this event is going to, I forget the exact word that you used. I think maybe you said counteract the negative polarity. Does this mean that we will only be experiencing a positive polarity, or will there still be a negativity there No, people will not experience the negative polarity. Most people that you know are not of the negative polarity. We talk of lower densities. Okay, so beings that you would see as, some people may say, evil. These people want to control, these people want power, these people want to serve only themselves. These people will not be of power any longer.
So this is referring to the polarity within us, not the polarity of the earth, because there are the polarities of the earth itself, and those are switching. So how does that relate?
Oh, no, that's not what I'm talking about. Yes, the poles of the earth are shifting the north and south. This is because of the frequency of the earth. The earth itself is shifting, the sun is shifting, the moon is shifting, the planet, and the weather is shifting. Um, but no, I speak of the yin and the yang, the light and the dark, beings of power have been, many have been controlled by the dark forces. People who serve of not the collective, but for themselves. They want to steal from others, in a sense. Does this make sense?
So this goes back to where we would be above that, so they would still be there, but it would not be within our awareness, the negativity.
Yes. Shifting the planet requires more energy, so that's why the planet is shifting so much. That's why there's a rise in the sea level, earthquakes, shifting poles. The planet is shifting. And after this event, it will stop shifting.
So we will continue to shift, but the earth will not.
Well, the earth will still shift, but not in the same way that it is shifting now. There will no longer be calamities. Destruction. Planetary storms. People won't have to worry about this.
So there would be no more storms at all, or just not of the same expansiveness?
Well, it's not going to be of a destructive level. So there will still be thunderstorms and snow. People like snow. People will be aware of some weather, but not to the state of awareness like this. So we want to clarify also that some people don't want snow and some people do. So the planet will have some snow and some people will want to locate there, but others will not. So, but things like earthquakes, tornadoes, things like this will no longer be of the planet.
Before you said that we don't really have to do anything to prepare for March, but we should continue to work on our heart space.
Which in a sense is doing something, but not of a physical sense, to clarify.
So what about people that do decide to just wait it out? Like, will this make their transition different from those that continue to work on their heart space?
So some people are aware, but not aware to the extent of others. So their transition will be different. Everybody's transition will be different. So some people will be afraid during this. They will be very fearful. And at first they will see it as something that's going to harm them. And they will be taken. Yet again, we do not want to state this in a way that is going to bring even more fear, but they will be taken and placed on, yes, we're going to say ships. Heather's, she knew what we were going to say. I want to clarify that yes, there are aliens, there are ships. And these people will be taken to ships and cared for. Now, beautiful beings, there are aliens, and these people are of you. People are so afraid of anything that is different. And so I want to clarify that these beings are of service and have been of service, and we want to help. People will be aware of something going on during this transition, but they may not be aware that this is what's happening. So they may not be aware of beings taking them and placing them on another planet or of a ship. But this is the process, and beings will be amongst you as well. And some people may see this as it's something to be afraid of. But when I say this as well, the beings are not going to shift you in the sense of taking over or of controlling you or even communicating with you, but the beings, and I am going to say we because I, Archangel Michael, am also a being that is different than you. So I'm going to say we because I want to say it in a state of collectivity. So we, for I am amongst these aliens and I am orchestrating this event. I take these people off Earth and I place them in ships, and they are in a containment area to learn and grow and expand. And they will understand that these beings are not in any way going to harm them. They will begin to understand and see who and what we are. They will learn their lessons through this way, and it will become beautiful for them. But at first, they may be afraid. Actually, anybody that is afraid is going to be taken off. Anybody who's not afraid will not. For these are the people that are willing and ready. So beautiful this is, for no one needs to be afraid. Anybody who is afraid, though, will be taken off and cared for. there is much love here. And if people see it as fear-based, this is of the highest good for everybody. That is why we are doing this. We want everybody to be cared for. We don't want people to have a tough time with this. So to answer your question, people do not have to do anything. They do not have to do anything. They do not even have to go into their hearts. But if they do, this process will be easier. It will be easier on us. It will be easier on you. It will be easier on everybody. Because people who remain here will wonder where these people are. They will wonder. And of course, we will tell them. But these people are going to want everybody there with them. For instance, if there's a family member who's been taken, they're going to want to reconnect with that person. Now, this transition most likely will not take long. So the people that are taken will not be there for a prolonged amount of time, maybe a few days, only a few days. So it's not going to be a long time, but we just don't think that we have to do this. Actually, most people probably will not be as afraid as most people would think. And if you are aware of what's going on, you will be allowed to stay. If anybody is even a little afraid, though, we don't want this. We do not want people to be afraid of this. Heather is very afraid now of the fear. She's afraid that people will be taken, most people, because she's aware that most people will be afraid. And we want her to understand that yes, most people will. But there's no fear there either. People are taken care of. This is not anything fear-based. Everybody is going to be, they're going to be aligning, and people will have what they need at this time. So we will be giving them all that is required for this to be a beautiful experience rather than something that people will want to run away from. To make this even clearer, I will say that no one is without beauty. And so when someone sees something that is of not beauty, I don't like the term ugly, if they see something that they see as ugly, they want to run away from it. But if they understand it as beauty, then they will understand that it is beautiful. So we are going to take them so that we can change their perspective and their view to see this and see the beauty that it is. How much does this make sense?
I had a question, but then I think that to me it makes sense, but I guess I'll still ask it in case viewers don't. But so what I'm gathering is that you will be taking the people that are afraid so that to make their transition easier and to guide them through the process, whereas if they were left here, then they would in a sense reject what's going on because of their fear.
Yes. So if they reject it, we will take them to clarify that they are of this. Their soul wants this. In dream time, we do a lot of work, and in dream time, they have been a part of this, but their personality does not understand. So we want to clarify, shift their perspective more towards the soul, to give them unity with their soul and of their higher self. Then they will understand that they are a part of this and that there is nothing to be fear-based. There's nothing fear-based about this and nothing to be afraid of. Do you like even more clarity? Or is this enough?
I think it's enough. So when this process is done and everyone has been brought back down to this new Earth, will the aliens then stay on the planet to help everyone else continue to transition, or what will they be doing after this process?
Yes, so they are of the light, and these light beings will be a part of the planet, so they will come and shift you towards what you may call a discovery of what this is. So it will help your transition. So if you are not understanding something, they will clarify. So when you are knowing these new discoveries, you may not understand how to use them. You may not understand what it means. So they are more like a teacher or a guide to tell you, to help you understand, and they will explain. So when we say this, they will not tell you to do anything, but if you want some assistance, they will be there. So yes, let me clarify that you will ask them for help. They are not forcing anything upon you, but they are there if you need them. And yes, they will be there in the physical sense. So many have communicated with them within their soul, but now you will be able to talk with them in a physical state. So will they be amongst you? Yes. Will they be living with you? No. They come and go.
So how will I had a question and I couldn't think of it, but now I remembered it. So from this point on, will new children be born already be transitioned into this higher vibration dimension and not have to go through a transitional period?
Do you mean will the children need to be taken off?
Will they automatically be in this 4D reality, or would they begin in a 3D?
The new Earth? So
Yes.
when there is a pregnancy and a birth, will
Yes.
they? Yes. Yes. Beings of new beings who are created will be created in the new Earth of the 4D and the 5D. Yes.
And then, so how would this affect pets and animals? Will their awareness change, or will this not really affect them?
So all beings will be created into the new Earth. So all beings, including animals, insects, Germs will not be a part of it. People will not get sick. But all things that are alive will be taken to the new earth, even animals, some insects, any creatures. So anything that is alive, yes, plants, some plants will be taken. They will be transitioned into the light, into more light source. None of the animals will need to be taken off the earth. They will not be afraid like the humans. So do not need to take them off the planet. Their lifespan will be within limitations, but they will be extended. So people will live longer than animals, but animals as well will be able to live longer. And they will be more aware of things, and people are also going to be connected with the animals and the plants and the creatures. I say creatures, anything else such as fish, insects. People will be connected to them, will be able to use telepathy to talk to them and connect with them energetically. So, in this, we also want to state that most people will communicate with them, but the animals will not in a sense be able to communicate with you. So it's more of you communicating with the animals, with the plants, and they will respond back, but they don't possess the same gifts that you do. Does that clarify that?
We would communicate our intention and then they would respond, that they understand that, but they don't have a desire to express things to us.
Well, it's more that they are not capable. Their gifts, their talents are not as advanced as you. They do not possess the same telepathy as you do. You will have the capability to understand them, but they will not understand you as the highest sense that you understand them. You will understand more of their source than they will understand of your source. As well as, so anybody that is lower than you of understanding, you understand them, but they may not understand you. So for instance, me, okay, of being of a higher vibration here, I have to meet you down here because you're not going to be able to get up here. So I have to use words and I have to use images and metaphors for you to understand more of here. So for you to understand the animals, you're going to have to step into their world, but they're not quite going to be able to step into your world. So you'll be able to understand more of what it's like to be an animal or plant, but they're not going to be able to understand what it's like to be a human. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
So because of this and having a better understanding, would this affect the way that we have the sense of how we have pets now?
It will be beautiful in the sense that you'll be able to state to your animal what you know about them. So there will be more of a heart-based frequency within you about your pet. You'll be able to understand your pet and your pet's needs and your pet's you'll have more empathy for them and understand why they behave the way that they do. You'll be able to care for them more. This, in a way, is going to expand you as well, because this is going to give you an experience that you've never given the opportunity to have before. So you're going to know what it's like to be a dog or a cat or a tree. You're going to know what it is to be a tree. Now, the tree won't know what it's like to be a human, but you could know what it's like to be a plant.
So, how will this change in awareness of the plants and the animals? How will this affect our activities?
So some people will be given missions, so they'll take on a task, and others will take on they'll want to discover things and just go around and explore. Some people will just want to have fun for a while, just do things. Some people will want to develop things, so invent things. Some people will have better understanding of things. We won't go to a job or study in the way that you do now. You'll have more freedom to discover things and do what you want. So people won't have to tell you what to do. You'll know what to do. You'll be understanding what it is that you should do, what is best for you. Doing what you do now, you feel that you should do things. I should go to work. I should wash my hair. I should clean. But there you have more freedom to explore, expand, and advance. Doing more what you need to do opposed to what you should do.
So this is not all happening right in March. March is a first step towards this.
Well, we don't like to give time frames. People don't really enjoy time frames. Although people ask time frames all the time, but people really don't want a time frame. We want to say that March is a very powerful time. It's a very powerful time, and this is about to begin in March. We have the love, and none of this is scary. The only thing that would make people afraid is that this is an ending in a sense. People get scared of new things. People don't like to give up things. But if you were to understand what you will understand, you will never go back. You will never want to go back. So try to understand this from a higher perspective. Doing this is for your best interest.
Part of the reason that we keep focusing on it happening in March is the fact that with us not having to then do like our jobs, the people that don't like going to their job, then like the sense of I only have to deal with my job for this much longer, or the people that aren't necessarily afraid but just think, oh, I have all these things that I would like to do and I have this amount of time to do them, and so they like to have that time frame so they can prioritize what they're doing before that time.
We want people to focus on the present, for the present is the only moment that we have. The present is of all that you do is in the moment. You cannot step outside this moment. And so the only reason that we gave this time frame is because we don't want people to be afraid. We wanted to open people's eyes up to understand that there is going to be something that happens soon. We don't want people to run away from it. We want people to run for it. And the only way that you can run for it is in the present moment. So you must allow for yourself to be one with yourself in this moment. And we tell this to you for your own growth in this moment, not for March, but for now. Doing something in this moment does matter, but what really, really matters is how you feel about it. It's better to understand not what you do, but how you feel about it. And not even what you think, but what you understand from the thoughts. To be within yourself, some would say, to go inward instead of out. Be within yourself. This is of the heart. Find peace from this. Some people would call this Zen, mindfulness, even meditation when you are awake, meditation when you are going through your day. We do not have to close our eyes and take time out. If we were to go throughout our day, knowing who and what we are, this would be more beneficial than even that time when you close your eyes and breathe. Even though that is very, very important to you. Don't limit yourself. People limit themselves. So I only have this amount of time. I can only accomplish this much. Be of the heart and you will be guided. For this is what the fourth density is about. We can be guided now. We don't have to wait for that. Do something that is of the heart. align not with what you do, but how you do it.
Are there things that when we are in the fourth dimension that we will have to give up?
Well, that's what we've been talking about, yes. For things will be better. The things that are not of your highest good will fall away. The things that are of the heart will be either cleansed, transmuted, or new things will be presented. So some will say that there's going to be differences in how you will spend your time. The activities will be changed, yes, but new things will be presented that you've never even thought of. And these will be better for you, and you will understand them as better. They will make you feel as you are, which is love. No one has to give up anything. So in a sense, you are not giving up anything, you are only giving up what you decide. So from a higher perspective, you will have a choice what to give up. We're not telling you to give up anything, but from a higher perspective, when you are in a higher perspective, your decision making is going to change. We're not taking anything away, but you will want to take things away. You will want to align with other things. We have to do this, and it is of your highest good. Yet again, we are not saying that you must do anything. You are part of this. You are the one in collaboration.
Is there anything else that we need to know about the new Earth, about this event, about our ascension?
No, I don't think so. I think this is pretty clear now. I think that we have clarified things. Once this is done, people will understand. If you struggle with this, it's because you are struggling of holding on to something, identifying with something, saying that you must have something to be who you are. Once this is done, we will move into the source. We will no longer find who we are outside of ourselves. We will understand who we are, and then that will be aligned. And so we will change the world from this. Instead of the world affecting us, we affect the world. Doing something doesn't matter. People think that it's who we are. Things happen to us, yes, but it's only because it's a learning experience for us to understand something. Once we understand it, then our circumstances shift. Problems happen because it's trying to give us something. Once we understand beyond it, then those things will fall away. Once this is done, people will understand. How you see the world will change. So, being of the heart means doing only what matters, doing only what gives you joy. And I know that this contradicts what I said before. But if you do what you do now from the heart, what you decide to do will change. There's a reason that you've decided to stay in a job that you are unhappy with. If you are of the heart, you will learn your lesson. And then that job is no longer needed. Or the job will shift. Does this make sense?
So the way that we feel and act within the job will affect the job.
Yes, or you will decide to leave the job. If you are of the heart, you will understand what is needed next. If you are in a job that you are unhappy with and are unhappy, it's because you're identifying with that which is not you. If you identify with your heart, knowing of yourself, you know of yourself, and then you know what is needed. So either then the job shifts or you shift away from the job. So it's sort of like if we talk about the negative polarities. Some people have identified with the negative polarity, even though they are not of the negative polarity. And so then we are now shifting away from that and understanding that we are not of the negative polarity. And so when this happens, then the negative polarity shifts, it's transmuted towards us, or it falls away. What makes sense so far? From what I've said, what do you understand?
That March is a big event, and that that timeline is just so that there is less fear, and that we will continue shifting beyond that point, and that the new earth is actually just entering into the awareness of the fourth or fifth dimension, and that our awareness of what it is that we should be doing will shift. Our awareness of that which is outside of ourself will shift. And that we will have more of an effect on what's outside of ourselves than the outside affecting us.
Yes. So when we say that your job would change if you changed, do you understand this?
Changing the way that we do it, or the actual vibration that we give off by doing the job.
Yes, so if you go into a higher vibration, okay, then the job will have to shift with you or you will shift away from the job. Does this make sense?
Because if the job does not change with us, then we would leave.
You will no longer be in alignment with the job. So either the job must align with you or you must move on to something that does align with you. Because you've transcended. Does this make sense? It's the same idea of this new earth. Either people, animals, things, whatever it is, move with you as your vibration grows, or they must fall away. For you are moving away. These things do not align with you anymore. As a collective, our frequency is so high that the planet doesn't exist in alignment with us, with you. It does not exist with you. And so you must create a new planet. The planet must move with you. As we explain this, does this make sense?
Because we can no longer exist alongside that.
Yes, you must exist in a planet that is of you. Everything that you exist as must be mirrored. It must be created from you. If your heart is, if you are aligning with the heart, which is a higher vibration, the vibrations around you must shift. It cannot hold that frequency. You must align with a new space that does align, that it is capable of the expansion that you know Does this make sense? People call this the law of attraction, but it's not attracting things. You are giving things. You are planting. You are harvesting. I think I like this better. You are planting seeds that grow. Am I making sense?
Yes, so is there anything else that you think that we need to know about this?
Well, I am done if you are.
I am unless Heather isn't.
We are done then. So we thank you for, I thank you, along with my, I am not alone. People call upon me, but I work with others. We work together. So I thank you for calling on me and calling on my people. I shall call them my people. We work together in service, and we thank you for calling on us. I am Archangel Michael, and I have been here with the Legions of Light, and we thank you today. Heather thanks everybody who watched, and she's thanking me. So beautiful, thank you. We want everybody to have fun. Do what you love to do. This is what's going to matter most. Have a good day. Okay, hang on. I'm kind of floaty, so. Okay, I need to ground.
That went on longer than you thought it was going to?
I don't know. Is that like 2 hours?
An hour and almost a half.
Okay. Yes, thank you for everybody for watching. So yes, yet again, if you have any questions. Oh, okay. If you have any questions, feel free to put those in the comments. All right. Have a good day. Have fun. All right. Bye.